Welcome to another edition of Play Your Melody. Let's get right into it. Today I'd like to talk about how you can create awesome attention-grabbing melodies and how it's easier than you think. That's right, the almighty melody. Having a good melody can really, make or break, any song. And, it can really affect how well the listener is able to engage with you, as a musician, and whether you're going to be able to keep their attention or not. So I know, it can be nerve-wracking trying to come up with that, that brilliant melody, or you can feel like it's never, never quite there. But I can guarantee you with my 5-step method, plus an added bonus step, so that's like this many, that's a lot of steps. I guarantee you that you'll be able to come up with something that's catchy, that's repeatable, that's memorable, and that's really going to grab the listener's attention, and they're going to want more of it. Alright, you ready? Step 1. Put your guitar down. That's right, just put it down. Set it off to the side, don't even look at it, don't even think about it. When you're doing this exercise, I want you to go ahead and use your inner musical voice up here to write your melodies for you and not your guitar. And I'll explain more about this in step 3 as to why I do this, but I think it's important that you start developing more up here as opposed to what's going on in here. I think it's going to really help you out in the long run. Alright, step 2. I want you to go ahead and listen to whatever piece of music you're trying to write a melody over. And I want you to just listen to it, numerous times, and when you're doing that, just try and come up with a simple melody in your head. An example of a simple melody would be something like da na 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 da na 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 da na 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 na. See, nothing special, just very, very simplistic, and that's going to allow you to craft a really nice melody, because you can go ahead and add, little cool little elements, little flurries, little bits of excitement later on. But we just want to come up with a basic framework for that you can take that and expand upon it. Now, I like to sing it because a lot of times as musicians, we can play a lot faster with our fingers than we can sing or think with our minds. And so this really forces you to keep it simple and to really evaluate whether it's a nice melody or whether you just think it's cool because you're playing fast or because you do something that's like technically impressive or whatever. And because you can't normally sing as fast as you would play, it really forces you to hone in on the songwriting part of it, and whether it's good music as opposed to whether it's just interesting to listen to or whatever. Okay, now step 3 is go ahead and pick up your guitar or your chosen instrument, and I want you to go ahead and figure out how to play that melody that you came up with in your head on your instrument. Now, a lot of times I find something very, very interesting happens, and a lot of times you'll come up with something that it takes you a while to learn because it feels like you never played something quite like that before. And that's another reason why I like to write melodies this way, or music a lot of times this way, is because it gets you out of those habitual patterns that you always play in, and that muscle memory that you worked on for years and years and years and years. And it really opens you up to a lot of new ideas, because your mind doesn't care whether you have the technical ability to play something, and it doesn't care whether you've worked on some similar idea before. All it cares about is it hears what it hears, and then that's just what it is. And so I think this is such a valuable little thing that you can do. I think that as far as coming up with new ideas and expanding your musical sense as a player, I feel that this is such an invaluable way to do it, because I'd say most of the time when I do this, I tend to come up with ideas I never would have come up with just by playing my guitar. And I think that's it's really cool. Alright, now step number 4 is you want to find ways you can take your melody and make it more voice-like. Now, when I say something is voice-like, it's very smooth, it's very flowing. The notes tend to run together. There's vibrato. It can go up and down in pitch, but it doesn't sound very cut off and short. As a guitar player, can play things like and it can sound super robotic and like very boring. And you want to, I think you really want to move away from that when you're trying to create a good melody. And the way you can do that is you want to start looking at it and thinking, okay, well, which notes, should I put a little bit of vibrato on? Which notes do I want to bend? Which notes do I want to slide into or out of? Which notes do I want to bend up to or bend out of? And if you listen to any great guitar player, I find for the most part, you find that that they all do this kind of thing, and it really makes your melody like more listenable, and it makes it so somebody who doesn't necessarily play guitar can still identify with it, because it does sound like more like a human voice. And I think when you become really good at this skill, you can create like amazing melodies that are just beautiful, that are awesome. And so I think you want to get started on working on that part of your your playing and your your music creating as soon as possible. So just take some time to think how I can bend here, slide there, put some vibrato here, and I think you'll start to see that you'll start to get these more flowing, natural, just like pleasant melodies the more you work on it. Now step 5 is to make your melody even more interesting by adding little runs to it, or changing the octave on repeated listens, or harmonizing it repeated times through. Whenever you listen to popular music, or any type of music, a lot of times the melody, it doesn't really stay exactly the same every time the chorus comes through, every time the melody is repeated. There's little variations to it, and you're gonna, if you really want to keep somebody's attention for a 4-minute song or 5-minute song, or a damn hour if you're a symphony, whatever, then you're gonna have to find ways to kind of craft the melody a little bit different each time so people don't get bored. And like I said, I think there's a couple really great ways of doing that. One is adding little flurries or adding little runs. This is a great time as at the end of a melody phrase is to throw in a little fast lick, or a little bit something different, just to kind of mix it up. Or you can harmonize it different ways. That could be a really great technique, is to harmonize a melody on the final chorus. I think it just sounds killer. Or you can change octaves when you do your melody. Say the first time through you want to do it like low on the neck, and the next time through maybe do it like in the middle or higher up on the neck, and that'll really it's not a huge like shift, but it will stand out, and people will notice it. And it's definitely going to give even more depth to that that simple little melody that we first started with in step 1 and 2. All right, now step 6 is kind of like a bonus step, and that's when sometimes just throw out all the steps. Sometimes write it with your instrument. Sometimes write a super complex melody. Sometimes write something that doesn't repeat ever. If anything, just to shake it up. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put on a track for you, and I want you to go ahead and try and follow the steps that we just discussed right now and come up with the melody. Now I'm going to go ahead and throw it up, and I'll talk you through it. So you can just take a little time to go ahead and try and just see how it works out for you. Okay, so for starters, just a simple track. Just listen to it. Just see what does it make you feel. Alright, so now you want to you might have a little idea in your head right now. So just see if you can't make that idea repeat a couple times. Just keep it simple. Maybe even sing along while you're doing it. take that idea and maybe make it a little bit different each time. Maybe if you got 4 bars, maybe repeat the same kind of pattern like 3 times and then change it up at the end. That's a cool way to do it. All right, yeah. Okay, cool. So, did you come up with something interesting? I'm sure you did. Even if you don't think it's that great, just start with something really simple. Okay, now go ahead and, pick up your guitar and you can go ahead and, I want you to go ahead and try and, figure the idea out real quick. Just take your time, go ahead and pause the video if you have to. Just, pause the video real quick, figure out, how to play it. And then once you do, I want you to go ahead and if you have a way to record it, go ahead and record it somehow, because that's the worst, is figuring out, forgetting what you thought of, or figuring out a good idea, or forgetting how you played it. Oh man, it's the worst. So just go ahead, figure it out on your guitar, and then take a second to just record it real fast. Okay, cool. We're good. All right, now I want you to go ahead and think of how you can make it a little more voice-like. Where can you go ahead and throw in some nice vibrato that kind of emulates the singing voice? Where can you go ahead and bend some notes? Are you gonna bend from the melody note that you heard up to some other note, a new note? Or are you gonna go ahead and bend from a note under that melody note into the melody note, which I think that's a really cool way to do it. Where can you go ahead and slide up to notes? Where can you slide out of notes? Just things like that. Take a couple seconds and work through it, and find little places where you can go ahead and add that. All right, cool. Is it sounding? It's sounding pretty cool now. All right. So now I want you to go ahead and find ways you can make it even more interesting. Like where can you add a fast little run? Maybe some alternate picking, maybe a little sweep lick. Maybe at the end of the phrase. Where can you add a little bit of that? Just to boost up the power of that melody a little bit. Where can you throw up an octave? Can you play it somewhere else on the neck? Can you harmonize it? Maybe with 2 guitars if you're recording. Just take some time and think of ways you can make it more interesting. And just listen to what's going on up here. Just trust yourself and trust that you're gonna come up with the right ideas for your melody. And the more that you trust yourself, the better you get at it, and you'll just get better and better and better. And it's really awesome to see how it ends up panning out at the end of it all. Now I'm just going to give you a little demo of what I came up with using the exact same 5 or 6 steps that I just showed you. So just take a listen and see if you can identify the little things I was talking about that you can do with the melody, and how I kept it. It's a simple melody, repeats a lot, but I spiced it up with a lot of cool different things. All right, that was my my little melody. So did you see all the things we talked about, all the different elements? I had a very simple repeating motif that I moved around the neck a little bit. Lots of voice-like elements, a lot of vibrato, a lot of bends, and a lot of slides, going in and out of notes, things like that. I had a couple little little runs to, you know, to break it up and to grab the attention a little bit. And you know, and it's, you know, mostly, you know, just a simple idea. You know, it doesn't have to be, you know, anything crazy. You know, I hope, you know, you really try this exercise and you really, you know, stick with it for a while, because I think, you know, it has a lot of benefits. And I think you'll see that the more you do it, the better you get at it, and it becomes easier and easier and easier to create compelling, you know, melodies that you really enjoy. So, you know, I hope you really add it into your practice regiment, and you know, at least experiment with it for a little while. All right, well, thank you for watching. I'm Paul Canzoneri, and I'll catch you later.